175 years of monetary history, and the pattern never lies. In 2021, we printed $6 trillion, increasing the money supply by 40% in 2 years. That's money printing on a scale that would make the Weimar Republic blush. Stage 5, inflation, appeared in 2021 and 2022. Inflation hit 9% in 2022. Prices rose dramatically. Wages couldn't keep up. The Fed's response was to raise interest rates, which has slowed inflation but made the debt more expensive. We're now paying over $1 trillion per year, just in interest on the debt. And inflation is still above the Fed's 2% target. We're in stage 5 right now. Stage 6, loss of confidence, is where we are currently. And this is the critical stage. Foreign central banks are reducing dollar holdings. China has cut treasury holdings from over $1 trillion to $700 billion. Russia eliminated dollar reserves entirely. BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and now Saudi Arabia, UAE, Egypt, Iran, and Ethiopia are building payment systems specifically to bypass the dollar. The M-Bridge system, bilateral currency swaps, trade in local currencies. This is stage 6. The world is actively seeking alternatives. Global dollar reserves have fallen from 73% in 2000 to 58% in 2020 to under 55% today. That's loss of confidence. That's stage 6. Stage 7, alternatives emerging, is beginning. We're not fully in stage 7 yet, but the pieces are forming. The Chinese yuan is being used for oil purchases with Saudi Arabia. The euro remains significant. BRICS is discussing a gold-backed currency or a basket currency. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency are gaining adoption. Central bank digital currencies are being developed. The alternatives aren't dominant yet, but they're emerging. This is early stage 7, and stage 8 is what comes next. Collapse of reserve status. The dollar loses the privilege. Countries no longer need to hold massive dollar reserves. Trade shifts to other currencies. And America can no longer borrow $36 trillion at low rates and export inflation globally. The standard of living, built on 80 years of privilege, comes crashing down. 5 reserve currencies, 5 collapses. Portuguese real lasted 80 years. Spanish dollar lasted 110 years. Dutch guilder lasted 80 years. British pound lasted 224 years. US dollar has lasted 81 years and is at stage 6 of 8. The average lifespan is 120 years. We're below average. The pattern is clear. Stage 1, dominance. Stage 2, overextension. Stage 3, deficit spending. Stage 4, money printing. Stage 5, inflation. Stage 6, loss of confidence. Stage 7, alternatives emerge. Stage 8, collapse. The United States has completed stages 1 through 5. We're in stage 6 right now. Capital flight is beginning. Alternatives are forming. We're not at collapse yet. But history says stages 6, 7, and 8 happen relatively quickly once confidence breaks. Britain went from Bretton Woods in 1944 to complete loss of reserve status by 1970. 26 years. The dollar could last another decade, maybe 2. But the pattern says collapse is coming. Because no reserve currency has ever maintained status once it reached stage 6. The confidence loss, once started, is irreversible. Maybe the dollar is different. Maybe American power is so overwhelming that the pattern won't complete. Maybe technology or military dominance will preserve dollar hegemony despite the fundamentals. But the pattern says otherwise. The history says otherwise. Portugal thought their trading empire was unassailable. Spain thought unlimited silver meant permanent dominance. The Dutch thought financial innovation was enough. Britain thought the empire would last forever. All believed they were exceptional. None were. The pattern won. And 5 out of 5 times, stage 6 led to stages 7 and 8. The United States dollar is at stage 6, loss of confidence. Foreign central banks dumping dollars. BRICS building alternatives. Dollar reserves declining. We're not at collapse yet. But we're 2 stages away. And history says those final 2 stages come fast. The reserve currency privilege that has defined American power for 80 years is ending. And when it ends, everything changes. The debt becomes unsustainable. The trade deficits become impossible. The American standard of living built on printed money that the world accepted because they had to collapses when they no longer have to accept it. 5 currencies followed 8 stages. All 5 collapsed. The 6th is following the same pattern. Stage 6 complete. Stages 7 and 8 ahead. The math is inevitable. The history is clear. And the warning signs are everywhere. If this opened your eyes to where the dollar actually is in the reserve currency death cycle, subscribe. Because when stages 7 and 8 come, when alternatives replace the dollar and reserve status collapses, you'll want to understand why America's power evaporated so quickly. The answers aren't hiding in the future. They're written in 575 years of monetary history, and the pattern never lies. 2021